welcome everyone to this Privacy Espresso. My name is Alessandro Di Mattia. I'm Legal and Executive Officer at Privacy Rules. And today we have with us Alexei Dubalar from the Hungarian law firm Lakatos Koves. Thanks, Alexei, for being with us today. And the topic that we are going to discuss is a pretty complex one that is related to cases in which more than one data protection authority can be involved in particular in cases of data breaches that are cross-country data breaches. And it's a pretty complex one because it's really difficult to understand how to manage this kind of situation, which is the authority that we should be contacting. The GDPR provides us with some information, and Alexei will go through that and will explain us how to move in this kind of context. So Alexei, I think I'll turn it over to you, and thank you very much again for being here today.
Yes, hello everybody. As was mentioned, I would like to talk about jurisdiction of data protection authorities in terms of data processing involves different member states, and I will especially approach from point of view data breach, as was also mentioned, but the rules of jurisdiction I present can apply to other cases as well. And today it can easily happen that personal data breach involves different member states parallelly, and data subjects residents in different member states. And this can be easily imagined, for example, in case of webshops, cross-border services, and various data processing involves data controllers or processors from different member states. And if a data breach has occurred, and this data breach is so serious that it needs to be reported to on authority, the question arises, which authority should be notified? A free concept of GDPR helps us with this question. The one is the concept of supervisory authority. Another it is concept of lead supervisory authority, and the third it is the cross-border processing. So what the difference between supervisory authority and lead supervisory authority, and which of them should be notified? And the reason for distinction between the lead supervisory authority and the simple supervisory authority is that the GDPR intend to create one-stop shop procedure to avoid the parallel and competing procedures of different member state authorities. First of all, we need to clarify the concept of cross-border processing. There are two separate reasons in case of which processing is considered as cross-border processing. The first is that data processed by controller or processor more than in one member state. The second reason is, although processing takes place just in one member state, it has a serious impact on data subject in more than one member state. Now that we clarified the concept of cross-border processing, I would like to set out the question which of the authority should be notified. As general rule, the lead supervisory authority is competent, and in case of personal data breach, should be notified. The jurisdiction of lead supervisory authority depends on main establishment or sole establishment of the data controller or processor. However, each supervisory authority, a simple supervisory authority, is also entitled to to act in case the subject matter relates exclusively to an establishment in its member states. Another reason is the subject matter substantially affects data subject exclusively in its member state. So this is the exceptional rules according to which a supervisory authority which other than lead supervisory authority is also entitled to act. However, in this case, the supervisory authority shall notify the lead supervisory authority, and the lead supervisory authority is entitled to decide which authority will continue the procedure. Okay. So during this way, the GDPR has avoided the conflict between jurisdictionally conflict between member state authorities.
Perfect, Alexei. Thank you very much. And just one question: are there any exceptions to that in order how to select the acting authority to determine which one should be?
Yes. Yes, maybe two exceptions. It is one if the data is processed by public body based on a public interest or a legitimate interest as a legal basis. In this case, the authority of member state concerned is only has right to act. Another it is the data processing by courts, which absolutely cannot be reviewed by data protection authorities at all.
Okay, perfect. That's really interesting. And what about if the lead supervisory authority decides to continue the procedure itself, while also the normal one, let's say, was already ongoing in its procedure? So there is a conflict. What should the other authority do in that case? Should that stop his activities? What happened?
The supervisory authority has the opportunity to submit the draft for decision to the lead supervisory authority. And according to GDPR, the lead supervisory authority shall taking into account this draft as soon as possible when preparing its own decision.
Okay, that's really interesting. So basically, the lead authority should still consider what the other authority is providing to them in order to decide, at least consider that.
Yes.
Okay, and is there, in your experience, any recommendation that you would like us and our listeners to provide in order to, as to whether notify the authorities in such a case, in the case of a data breach, for example?
The question which authority could be notified, I think that both solution works, the lead and the simple supervisory authority. Maybe the data controller may try to analyze which authorities practice less stringent, but taking into account that there are only 72 hours to notify the authorities, it seems very difficult to speculate on this issue. But this question can be analyzed deeply, knowing by details, so knowing by two relevant authorities and the nature of data breach.
Okay, Alexei, thank you very much. We end up of our time for the first part of this session of today. So I would like to thank you and all the people that are following us, and that in particular will follow us in the recorded version of this Privacy Espresso. And I hope to meet you all next Thursday with the next Privacy Espresso. Thanking you for being today with us. Bye, everyone.